breakup reports involving Zendaya and Tom Holland have been sending the internet into meltdown for days. Now, Zendaya has finally addressed the rumors herself, and her response is leaving a lot of fans more confused than before. The panic started when fans noticed that Zendaya had unfollowed everyone on Instagram. Not just a few people, everyone. That included Tom. And if you know anything about how fan communities work online, you already know that kind of move doesn't just go unnoticed, it detonates. Within hours, the unfollow sent shockwaves across social media, with fans convinced the couple had split. Comment sections filled up overnight. Zendaya broke up with Tom. OMG. Another one. Zendaya unfollows everyone, including Tom Holland on Instagram. What? The discourse was everywhere, trending, inescapable. As the whispers picked up steam, both of them were seen out in public solo, feeding into speculation. No joint appearances, no reassuring couple pic, nothing, just radio silence, which to a fandom already in freefall is basically confirmation of whatever they fear most. Then the cameras found Tom on a Friday in January. He was asked about the status of his relationship by a paparazzo in Los Angeles. He didn't dodge it, he didn't give some PR polished non-answer. In a video obtained by TMZ, Tom said that he and Zendaya had absolutely not broken up. 2 words, blunt, done. But here's the thing, that answer, direct as it was, didn't actually kill the story, because Zendaya never said a word, not one. And that silence, that became the real headline. The unfollow had come ahead of her movie challengers, a tactic that Blake Lively pulled before A Simple Favor, and that Taylor Swift deployed before Reputation. It was a brand reset, a strategy. But the internet wasn't in a strategy reading mood, it was in a breakup confirming mood. And so even after Tom's denial, the questions didn't stop. They just shifted. If they're so solid, why won't she say so? Why does she always stay quiet when the fire's burning? That question, why won't Zendaya just speak, is the one that's driven this entire saga. And the answer to it tells you everything about who she actually is, and how she's chosen to move through a level of fame that most people can't even imagine. The couple met in 2016 while filming the 2017 hit Spider-Man: Homecoming, in which Holland starred as the world-famous superhero, and Zendaya starred as MJ. They were kids, essentially teenagers thrown into one of the biggest film franchises on the planet, before they confirmed anything directly. The two spent years appearing in each other's social media posts, press tours, and red carpets, repeatedly describing themselves as close friends, even as dating reports followed them. It wasn't until July 2021 that their relationship was confirmed, when the couple were photographed kissing in Holland's car. They didn't choose that moment, it was taken from them. Tom told GQ at the time, "One of the downsides of our fame is that privacy isn't really in our control anymore, and a moment that you think is between two people that love each other very much is now a moment that is shared with the entire world." That moment, being outed by a paparazzi lens, set the tone for everything that came after. They didn't announce, they didn't celebrate, they pulled inward, and Zendaya in particular built a wall that the press has spent years trying to climb over. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter in 2023, Holland said he was protective of his relationship with Zendaya. "Our relationship is something that we are incredibly protective of, and we want to keep as sacred as possible." Sacred. That word matters, because everything that follows, every breakup, every ring rumor, every media frenzy, has crashed against that wall they built. And each time, people mistake the wall for something being hidden, but the wall is the point. Now, to understand why Zendaya's silence gets mistaken for secrets, you have to understand just how deliberately, almost architecturally, she has constructed her public persona around not sharing. This isn't an accident, it's a choice, and she's talked about it in controlled, carefully measured doses, enough times now that the picture is clear. At the end of the day, you're a public figure. There's nothing you can do. Zendaya explained in an Interview magazine conversation with the drama co-star Robert Pattinson. But some things are meant for yourself and for your loved ones. She didn't say that defensively. She said it like someone who'd already made peace with the terms of their fame, someone who'd decided which parts of her life belonged to the public and which parts didn't. She continued, "I do try to have privacy, not just for characters, but for me in real life, I try to be honest to who I am when I'm in public, but I also try to keep things for myself. That's the blueprint." Public work, private life, and she holds that line hard, even when the world is pulling at the seams of it. On the Modern Love podcast by the New York Times, she said, "I just feel like for me, there is a level of a parasocial investment In my personal relationship, which I understand. She's not dismissing the fans. She's not cold about it. She continued, I'm aware that I'm a public person, and so is he. And I'm also aware that we've grown up in front of people, and we've done movies where we fall in love. She gets it. She knows exactly why people are invested. Peter Parker and MJ on screen, and then those two actors actually in real life. It's a story that writes itself, and she understands why people want to read every chapter. But understanding it doesn't mean she's going to feed it. In a lot of ways, I'm also a very private person, and I try my best to be able to have things for myself and for him as well. She said in a recent podcast interview. Tom, for his part, has mirrored that energy completely. He's clarified that they intentionally keep their work lives separate to preserve the sanctity of their private relationship, a boundary that allows them to support each other behind the scenes, without the distraction of constant red carpet scrutiny, according to a January 2025 interview with Men's Health. The result of all this? A couple that moves through Hollywood like ghosts, present everywhere in terms of cultural weight, invisible in terms of personal exposure, and that invisibility, that careful, deliberate quiet, is exactly what makes every Instagram unfollow feel like a bomb going off. Similar rumors about their relationship have surfaced repeatedly over time, but have been consistently denied or disproven. The cycle is almost clockwork at this point. Zendaya does something, unfollows people, posts a movie promo, skips a red carpet, and the internet fills in the blank with breakup. Then evidence surfaces to the contrary. Then it all dies down. Then it happens again. A major social media scare was confirmed as a professional branding reset, rather than a personal statement. But by the time that context arrived, the frenzy had already done its damage. Articles written, TikToks posted, fan accounts in mourning. Tom has spoken about how protective he gets over Zendaya, and that protectiveness runs both ways. She's talked about watching his life transform overnight. From a kid at the pub with friends to Spider-Man, one of the most recognized faces on Earth. In her Vogue cover story, she said, "We were both very, very young. But my career was already kind of going, and his changed overnight. One day you're a kid and you're at the pub with your friends, and then the next day, you're Spider-Man." I definitely watched his life kind of change in front of him, but he handled it really beautifully. There's a tenderness in that quote that doesn't belong to two people who've split. There's history in it, weight, the kind you only carry for someone you've watched grow up. Then came January 2025. And the ring. After her red carpet appearance at the 2025 Golden Globes, fans quickly noticed that Zendaya was wearing a large diamond sparkler on her left ring finger. Not her right hand. Not a fashion piece meant to provoke. The left hand, that finger. Every camera in the room swung toward it. The internet, still singed from months of breakup speculation, had a completely new thing to spiral about. Was this a statement, a troll, a mistake? Or was it exactly what it looked like? Reports about the couple getting engaged had first surfaced that month, after Zendaya attended the Golden Globes wearing a diamond sparkler on her ring finger, and TMZ later confirmed via sources that the pair were engaged. TMZ reported that the proposal was low-key and private, and happened at some point between the Christmas and New Year's holidays in 2024. Zendaya's engagement ring was an east-west cushion-cut diamond, set on a gold band from Jessica McCormack, a beloved celebrity jeweler and fashion designer. The ring had a name. It had a provenance. This wasn't an accident. It was later reported that Tom had proposed during the 2024 holiday season at a family home, and his father, Holland, revealed in a Patreon post that the actor had purchased a ring. His father added that Tom had spoken with her father and gained permission to propose to his daughter. Tom had everything planned out: when, where, how, what to say, what to wear. This wasn't impulsive. This was a man who'd thought about it, planned it, asked permission the old-fashioned way, and then pulled it off so quietly that the world didn't find out, until a camera caught the result on a red carpet. Zendaya, for her part, didn't confirm it, didn't deny it, just walked the carpet with that ring on her finger, smiled for the photos, and let the image speak whatever it was going to speak. The biggest shift came at the start of 2025, when Zendaya wore a diamond ring at the Golden Globes, and engagement reports quickly followed. But even then, even with People magazine confirming the engagement, even with Tom's father posting about it, Zendaya herself didn't issue a statement. No Instagram caption, no interview confirmation, Nothing. And then Tom confirmed it in the most Tom Holland way possible. During a recent interview, when a reporter referred to Zendaya as his girlfriend, he quickly corrected the person, saying that she is his fiancée. One word casually dropped, like it was already the most natural thing in the world. In September, Tom sweetly corrected a fan who referred to Zendaya as his girlfriend, asserting fiancé. So the man who once described their relationship as sacred had now quietly, almost accidentally, let the world in on the next chapter. But Zendaya still quiet, and that quiet now more than ever was being read as something to decode. People analyzed every interview she gave after the Golden Globes, every word choice, every pause. She talked about Tom with warmth. She called working with him strangely comfortable. In Vanity Fair's Hollywood 2025 issue, Zendaya opened up on what it's like to work with her partner, revealing, "It's actually strangely comfortable. It's like second nature, if anything," she said. "You feel extra safe with the person you're acting beside. I love working with him. He's so talented and so passionate about what he does." That's not a woman processing a breakup. That's a woman describing someone she's built a life with. By early 2026, people had mostly accepted the engagement. The frenzy had cooled. The ring had been analyzed to death. And then Zendaya showed up somewhere, and the ring was different. Rumors swirled that the couple had secretly married after Zendaya was spotted wearing a gold band instead of the diamond ring. The cushion-cut diamond, the engagement ring that had been photographed from 100 angles, was gone. In its place, something simpler. A plain gold band, the kind of ring you wear after the ceremony, not before it. Fans noticed immediately. Engagement rings don't just disappear. You don't swap a 5-carat diamond for a gold band unless something has changed. The internet started doing math. Zendaya raised eyebrows when she swapped her 5-carat diamond ring, which she debuted at the Golden Globes in 2025, for a new band on that finger as she stepped out in Los Angeles. Still, no confirmation. Neither Zendaya nor Tom said a word. The silence held. Then came the Actor Awards, March 1, 2026, and Law Roach walked a red carpet. Law Roach is not a peripheral figure in Zendaya's world. He'd worked with Zendaya since the early 2010s, more than a decade of dressing her for every major moment of her career. He knows things, he's in the room, he's at the fittings. He's seen the life up close in ways that most people never will. So when Access Hollywood caught him on that red carpet and asked about the wedding, he said the wedding has already happened, adding, "You missed it." When asked, "Is that true?" Roach confirmed, "It's very true," with a laugh. The internet stopped, completely stopped. Roach did not reveal any further details, such as when or where the wedding took place. Just that it had happened. Just that by the time anyone was asking, it was already done. You missed it. Neither Zendaya nor Holland addressed his statement, but Roach wasn't done. 2 weeks later, at the Oscars red carpet, someone asked him if he wanted to walk back his comments. Roach smiled and said, "No, I said what I said." He wasn't backpedaling, he wasn't joking. He said what he said and he stood on it. Zendaya made a surprise appearance at the 2026 Oscars, just 2 weeks after her stylist claimed the actress and her longtime partner had tied the knot. She presented the Oscar for Best Director alongside actor Robert Pattinson, wearing a mocha brown gown accented with diamond jewelry, including a diamond ring on her left ring finger. The ring on the left finger. Again. Always the left finger. During an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live the day after the Oscars, Zendaya would neither confirm nor deny that the wedding had happened when Kimmel brought up the subject. So now here's where we are. Her stylist says it happened. She showed up to the Oscars with a ring on that finger. She sat across from Jimmy Kimmel and gave him nothing. Tom Holland, the man who once accidentally confirmed his own engagement, by correcting someone's word choice, has said nothing. Not one word about a wedding. And the question that started all of this, what is Zendaya actually saying about her relationship, has an answer that the internet keeps refusing to accept. Here's the thing about Zendaya's silence. It was never really silence. She's been telling the truth about her relationship for years. The truth just wasn't packaged the way the internet wanted it to be. It wasn't a caption. It wasn't a press release. It wasn't a sit down with People magazine. It was something much quieter, and for that reason, much easier to miss. On the Modern Love podcast, she said, "I think sometimes, at least in my personal experience, I found that sometimes people can get nervous around people, but there's a certain feeling that I was able to experience. When I knew that this is my person, past tense in the knowing, present tense in the living. She wasn't describing a relationship she was unsure about. She was describing a certainty she'd already arrived at, a private certainty she had no obligation to parade. She continued, "We first met in an audition, so I was pretty nervous anyway. But he did make me feel calm just by being a nice person, by making me feel comfortable. Having to do a chemistry read for a big movie like that. It's like, you really want the job and all these kinds of things. And yeah, he was really lovely then. A decade. Essentially." From a chemistry read for a Spider-Man movie to a quiet wedding that nobody saw coming because they planned it that way. In 2022, Zendaya gave one of the clearest acknowledgments of their status when she said after her Emmy win, "And I texted my boyfriend," at the height of her euphoria moment, one of the biggest nights of her career. That was the breadcrumb she dropped. Not an interview, not a statement. Just a casual aside that confirmed everything without making it a spectacle. That's been the pattern. Breadcrumbs carefully placed, never an announcement, always a glimpse. Appearing on the Dish podcast, Holland described Zendaya to hosts Nick Grimshaw and Angela Hartnett as the best thing that's ever happened to me. He said that out loud on a podcast to two strangers with microphones. But even that, even the best thing that's ever happened to me, didn't generate the same apocalyptic energy as Zendaya unfollowing people on Instagram, because we've been so trained to read her silence as concealment that we stopped listening to what she does say. Zendaya has spoken about valuing privacy to protect their relationship from public speculation, not to deceive, not to hide something shameful, to protect something real from the particular kind of damage that overexposure causes. She watched what happened to other couples who lived their relationships publicly. She saw how that ends, and she made a different choice. The actress emphasized how much she values her privacy, even as a public figure, amid rumors that she and Tom Holland may have already tied the knot. And the thing is, by the time Law Roach made his Oscars red carpet declaration, the evidence that she and Tom were moving toward forever had been sitting in plain sight for years. The joint red carpets, the Vanity Fair quotes, the Emmy text, the fiancé correction, the ring on the left hand at the Golden Globes, the gold band swap, and then a stylist who's known her for over a decade, looking straight into a camera and saying, "The wedding has already happened. You missed it." While Zendaya and Tom have not personally confirmed if they're engaged or married, her longtime stylist Law Roach seemingly confirmed the news to Access Hollywood at the Actor Awards. And Zendaya. She went to the Oscars, she presented an award, she wore her ring, she sat across from Jimmy Kimmel and smiled, and she said nothing, which, if you've been paying attention, is the loudest thing she's ever said. The breakup the internet was so sure about, Zendaya and Tom Holland remain a committed couple as of early 2026, successfully navigating several waves of baseless internet speculation. Not just committed, if Law Roach is to be believed, they're married, quietly, privately, on their own terms, in a room full of people nobody got to photograph. That's the truth. Zendaya finally admitted, not in a tearful confession, not in a headline-grabbing interview. The truth was in the decade of choices she made to protect something real. The truth was in the ring. The truth was in the gold band. The truth was in the stylist who couldn't contain it any longer. She didn't admit to a breakup. She admitted to something bigger. She admitted that she'd already built a life, and she built it so quietly that by the time the world caught up, the wedding was already over. You missed it.